So SmackDown opens up with the bloodline coming out. Reigns told the Worcester crowd to acknowledge him, and Logan Paul made his entrance. He got booed. Reigns said he gets it. There's a lot of people in the bloodline, and Reigns assured Paul that the ring would be a safe place. So Paul entered the ring. Logan sucks chant broke out. Did the same thing to me years ago, and I'm still the greatest of all time now, Reigns said. And he added that he felt there were a lot of things that they could teach Paul. Reigns told Heyman to smarten this boy up. Heyman recalled Reigns asking, "Who in the hell is Logan Paul?" And Heyman said it hit him in the head just like Anderson Silva would hit Jake Paul in the head when they fight. Logan is this generation's version of Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper. Heyman said Logan is a celebrity they bring in to put more eyeballs on the product. Heyman recalled pondering a pseudo-celebrity and a male Kardashian to bring in to get smashed by Reigns. He mentioned a few. So he mentioned like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and stuff. Everything it's like it's kind of weird. He said none of them would have the balls to enter the ring with Reigns. And Heyman said he hopes that they put the catheter and breathing tube in the right holes after Reigns puts Paul in the hospital for 3 months. But basically, what Paul was doing here is trying to paint the picture. This guy's like a viral YouTube guy, like all these other influencers and stuff, right? So Logan said Heyman really is the wise man. He asked Heyman if he was referring to Reigns or Jey Uso when he used the name Tribal Chief. Jey barked at Logan while Jimmy held Jey back. Reigns shot Jey a look, which caused Jey to chill out. Then Reigns stood in front of Jey and stared at him. Sami Zayn stepped forward and tried to play the peacemaker, and Zayn told Reigns that he is the head of the table and the tribal chief. And Zayn said no one is questioning that or challenging that, and Zayn said Jey did nothing wrong. Zayn said the only one who did anything wrong was Logan, who would get smashed by Reigns, and Zayn called Logan the biggest two of them all. That's what you are. You're a giant number 2, Zayn said. He added that Paul would become a number 2 stain on the bottom of Reigns' shoe after Crown Jewel, and Zayn said the bloodline would be more in line than ever, and Zayn did the because we the ones catchphrase, and Reigns nodded and put his arm around Jey. What'd you think of this segment?
All right. This is what I thought. First of all, I liked when Triple H opened the show, and then on the microphone there was a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
I love the long, arrogant walk to the ring, how they soak it in. They act like stars. That's how you walk to the ring like a star. AEW guys could learn this from them.
Yeah, they rush to the ring because they got to get in their match.
Right. Here's what I think, bro. This started off very interesting. So when Paul was announced, I thought, okay, good, because Paul's popular and he's going to get a lot of people are going to watch. But this has not clicked for me at all. The people boo Paul vociferously because I don't think they're feeling this, just like I'm not feeling this. Paul is getting destroyed on the microphone. Bro, you're going up against Sammy, Paul Lee, and Roman, and they're just destroying him. He needs help. If he had somebody in his corner that knew how to talk, like a Jim Cornette, like a Disco Inferno, that could help him out. But he's just getting destroyed here, bro. And I don't think the fans feel this. And I don't feel it. This did nothing for me to want to see them in Saudi Arabia, okay? I thought Heyman, who's the promo master, I did not think this was one of his better promos. He was talking about, Jordan Peterson and debating Shapiro and all this other bull. Right. It was all over the place, but even Jacob deGrom has a bad day, so does LeBron James. Heyman's still the master, but this was not one of his better promos. It did nothing to make me want to see. Bro, this was all Jey. This whole segment was all Jey, Sammy, and Roman. They were great here.
Yeah. So next is so they go to a match, Solo Sikoa against Ricochet. Good matches. So both these guys, Solo Sikoa can work pretty good. I like his work. And he beats him clean in 820 with his Uranagi finisher.
Okay. So let me say this about this match. Ricochet to me was just like a high spot guy, but he's turned into a real good worker. I love when he jumped on the third rope for the catapult and got punched. That finish was great, and I do mean great. This was a real good match, and the Bloodline are so over that not a lot, but some people were booing Ricochet when he was on the offense against what's his name? Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa, and his punches have gotten better.
In that case, so we go backstage, and Sami Zayn told the rest of the Bloodline about the work he's done with Solo Sikoa seems to be paying off. And Jey Uso took issue with Sami's comments and about taking Sikoa under his wing. Sami told Jey not to be such a hothead, which upset Jey even more. Roman Reigns interrupted, and Jey has always been a hothead and doesn't want it to be his problem anymore. Reigns told Sami that Jey is his problem now. So that was pretty good. This
is what we always talk about, a thread throughout the whole show, which is great, and this was a great backstage segment.
Right. So our boys Hit Row come out of the tour bus. That's exciting. So the Usos and Zayn were walking through the backstage area. They met Kofi and Xavier, and they mocked Jay from being called main event Jay Uso to having Sammy as his boss. Zayn told the neck, of course, Jay gets. Zayn told the New Day to find a partner and meet them in the ring, and the Usos weren't pleased about Sammy setting up the match.
Let me say this about Hot Row. I think I hit Row or whatever. I think I said this the other day. They just seem like they're acting. They're not genuine. Like their dialogue isn't genuine. Like the bloodline. Like they're trying too hard to act fly. Just be more authentic because they're not resonating with me. And you know I like all that urban stuff.
So Hit Row comes out. So then all of a sudden they get attacked by the mask-wearing Santo Escobar, Quinoa, and Cruz del Toro. Then a blonde Zelina Vega showed up and got the better of B-Fab. They took the mask off. Vega took the mic and said she's back and did not come alone. Escobar said they are Legado del Fantasma and Smackdown is theirs, and Barrett called out the three men by name. I like the fact that they start off with kind of like gang violence.
Right.
You know, because like they got the cartel and they're going after kind of like the hip hop guys and stuff. And so let's like, I like that.
It finally took long enough, but finally Legado made it to SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Would like to say that all three of them wrestled for AAA, and the masks were not necessary as if we didn't know who they were.
Right.
Not sure why Zelina's with them because Fantasma speaks good enough English, but if you're gonna have a female, I think she's a serious upgrade over the girl they had before, who I thought was shoehorned in and did not make a good fit with them. This was a good debut for them.
So then we go. I don't even know why they do this, right? Raquel and Shotzi versus Sonya Deville and Xia Li. And, like, you can tell when they just have nothing for these characters, they just put them in there for a 2 to 3 minute match, and they always do it with the girls.
Right.
So, like,
they got no ring entrance. The two were already, the Xia Li and the other one were already in the ring.
So Raquel and Shotzi beat them in 2 minutes. This is like, if you miss this, you didn't miss anything.
And let me just say one thing. I'm not a big fan of the tank, but I guess that's back and maybe they sell merchandise. The only thing I don't like about this was basically a squash, and it's like the same thing we always see. You know, Raquel gets the hot tag, destroys everybody, and that's, rinse, repeat. Same thing. She has no real backstory, no real personality. What's her gimmick? Like, she just keeps doing, since she got there, it's been the same MO with her, Give her the hot tag, she destroys everybody. She did it with Aaliyah, now she's doing it with Shotzi, and they just protect her, and she's not even feuding with anybody,
Yeah. So next we go to Cross and Scarlett make their entrance, and when they're doing their entrance, Drew comes up behind them. He attacked Cross with a leather strap. Security came out and he got McIntyre to the ring, but eventually fought them off and crossed on the floor and pulled the strap, which pulled McIntyre to the ring post. Then Cross repeated the post shot twice. Then he whipped McIntyre's back with the strap several times while Scarlett watched from the ring and laughed. And they did a close-up of the welts on McIntyre's back. So this is, that's about all that happened there. So
what's weird, I was reading these comments on our Twitter, and like Cross was getting seriously buried. And when I looked at the name, it was Billy.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of it, bro. Let me tell you, Cross is very polarizing. Very polarizing. The dirt sheet guys don't like him.
Come on, that's
he's got a lot of fans that like the character.
Yeah, but Billy actually said something like,
well, he got mad because he's Drew had to put him over.
Right, but here's the other thing that he put in, which I seriously disagree with. He goes, he's got no legit MMA background. Let me explain something to you, Billy, just in case you don't know. I'm not going to tell you what his background is, but he used to do bare knuckle fights in Indian reservations.
Right.
I wouldn't run up on him and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that has to do purely with their encounter. That's what I think.
Yeah,
he's still.
Don't question this man's stuff.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I guarantee it's
plus not only that, and I'm gonna tell Billy when he gets here. Billy's like, "Oh, get me an interview with Kevin Cross. Give me, yeah, dude. He's not gonna give you no interviews when you're saying he's a."
Some of these dirt sheet guys just don't. They're like
they don't get it.
Yeah, they're a different planet.
And I truly believe that they should have put the strap on Drew in Wales. I really do believe that.
But Billy's a tough pill to swallow because he's on there burying AEW a lot now. But I bet you if he came to the States and he was near an AEW show, he'd hit up to be like, "Hey, can you get me AEW tickets?" Like, no.
Right, that's not the way it works, dude. You can't. talk people and then later on ask for favors.
Right.
Doesn't work that way.
So next is I missed this. I don't think this made the Hulu. A person with antlers on their head was shown standing next to a wall of shields with their back to the camera. A male voice said only the foolish confuse absence with weakness. He said they've been watching, waiting, and growing stronger, and the female voice chimed in and said something to conclude with Valhalla awaits. So
I didn't see this either. Yeah.
All right. So so this is funny. This is a good spot. So the Usos and Sami make their entrance to Kofi and Xavier come out, and so they introduce their part as Braun.
Right.
Like all the Usos, they're all mad at Sami now for giving this match. Like this was good storytelling in this match. You can only imagine how this went. The heels are bumping all over the place for Braun, and they get beat. So the heels go under in like 10 minutes. So
bro, he's super over. Braun is super over with the people. He's kind of a big lug. He just does the same, tackle, splash, big boot. That's about it. But he's super over and in great shape, and I like the aggressive tags between Sami and Jay. Like he just slapped the shit out of his back. Like Jay still, isn't feeling this Sami thing. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing it because Roman's asking him to, but he ain't down with it.
Right.
Just great storytelling.
All right. So next was backstage. Max Dupree stood over the fall of Marseille Mansois. Maxine showed up and yelled at Max, who told not to call him Max ever again. He said his name is L.A. Knight, and Maxine checked on her models while Knight walked away. I got mixed feelings about this, right? Because I don't know why they're giving up on the Max Dupree and the Maximum models. Okay,
yeah, I thought they had great potential.
Bro, all they had to do was give these guys some heat,
right?
Like to do a thing where they beat somebody up or get good heat on it. Bro, LA Knight knows how to work. He can involve himself in beatdowns 3-on-2. Like I just don't understand why because bro, I'm telling you what, those guys' gimmick is not bad.
No,
they play
like
the gimmick well. They look good and they're not bad workers. And I don't know. He could have.
Yeah, they do some funny stuff.
He could have done the same LA Knight type gimmick and everything as Max Dupree with these guys and been like, like Piper was with Paul Orndorff.
Right.
But he was kind of his manager, but he also tagged with him
way too quick, and this girl can't carry the load.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. So they recapped the Gunther feud. So the broadcasting spoke at ringside while someone in a white rabbit suit sat behind them in the crowd. So painfully out. It's like they're telling this story like they're drawing it with crayons. Like, hey, here's the white rabbit.
I like it.
That white rabbit was walking around the crowd all night too, like through the concessions and around the crowd.
I heard that's what Joe's going to be for Halloween, the White Rabbit.
May as well.
So basically, Sheamus and Gunther have a repeat of their pay-per-view match. Hard-hitting, good match. A lot of shenanigans at ringside. And Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni ran out, which brought out Ridge Holland and Butch to brawl. Then Kaiser slid the shillelagh to Gunther, and Sheamus went for his brogue kick, but Gunther hit him with the shillelagh and pinned him.
What were you calling him before? Shaggly?
No, when I was reading it, I was not even even thinking shillelagh. I was thinking. I just looked at the word shillelagh. I've never read that word before. I've never looked at that word in text and read it.
Bro, these guys never ever have a bad match. This was no exception. This was great. And there was one part where he had the guy in the clover leaf, and the place was just going crazy. And then both teams arrived, and they started fighting. I loved when Gunther kicked out of the second rope white noise. Mm-hmm. And Sheamus kicked out of the power bomb. Right. I thought this was bro. They just don't have bad matches, and people are really into them. They don't get tired of watching them, and they love Sheamus.
Right.
Good for him.
So that was Smackdown.
Yeah, that was a great finish. Great ending to the show. Really good show, except for the women again.
Right.
Yeah, good show.